teacher for many years, and I went to UCM in the English department. Okay. Secret Asian Man. This entry is not meant to refer to any individual or group with any more social inappropriateness or particular acclaim or disdain than I would apply to any other individual or group, whatever their social, ethnic, gender, species, age, or sexual orientation. I use the generic Asian just as I use the generic American. I wrote about the Asian and American cultures because this is what I've experienced. I'm married to a man who is officially classified as Asian American. However, he has gone through his life with very few people realizing this fact about him, although many people have exclaimed at some point, "I knew you were something," upon discovering what type of parents he had. From his father's rural American side of the family, he inherited great height and a Bubba-esque physique not stereotypically found with the Asian background. From his mother's side, he got dark eyes and lots of nice, thick black hair on his head and sometimes other places. And because my husband's Asian heritage isn't easily identifiable to most, I refer to him as my secret Asian man. Cue the music. All right. To explain his background further, my husband and his sister were raised in a time when full immersion into a culture was purported to be the best way to make your children successful in America. As they were both born in America, the Asian side was not fostered. Today, my husband can speak only about 5 Asian words and couldn't explain the true hierarchy of his ancestors if you paid him. Other than wearing a hanbok on his first birthday and having a childhood pet named Kimchi and knowing some of the actual names of Asian or Oriental food, it appears that the rural American upbringing was the most influential in forming his mindset. Or was it? After having been married to him for some time and making it to his family dinners, where we always eat ham, turkey, and jello, which is what most people want to know what we have for dinner, I became suspicious that many of the aspects of my husband's family's value systems and customs are more similar to the Asian culture. To confirm this, I did what modern people always do when information is sought. I Googled it. I did find some information on the differences in Eastern and Western philosophy that I recognized as having witnessed in my interactions with my new family. I came to realize also that while we were all speaking English and my family members had the outward appearance of typical Midwesterners, at times their way of thinking and acting was not. Now, I don't want this entry to make me sound strongly biased. I have found just as many perplexing customs within my own cultural background, rural Americans, as I ever experienced anywhere else. To me, it isn't an issue of race because I judge people on their character and acts. My family members on my husband's side are intelligent and educated, and they don't perceive any difference in how they interact. I don't know that I would have noticed it either, but I taught for a living, and I've been around a lot of people. Okay, I don't find either philosophy to be of more value than the other one, but I don't have to go out on a limb to state that we are backwards from each other in some ways. I would also like to say that my husband has read this and approved this because he agrees. An actual difference I noticed was in the speech pattern. American sentences usually go subject, verb, complement, as in, we kill possums. Many Asians do not follow the same pattern, sentence pattern. The verb often comes first when my husband speaks, and for a while I just thought he was channeling his inner geek to talk like Yoda. But when I studied the other family members and the way they do that, I decided maybe they weren't all that familiar with all that is Star Wars. I do know that the word not is not used like I'm accustomed to using it. In my world, it means a negative, or something is a no, or it didn't happen. It is not the same for my husband. Evidence? Didn't you buy pop at the store? Yes. Where is it? What? The pop. What pop? The pop you bought at the store. I never told you that. And then I stand there, or I sit there confused. What confused me about this so long for the not conversations was that all the words were in a language that I thought I understood and actually taught for a living. I think the day the realization came to me that my husband and I weren't speaking the same language was the day I got the following answer to a question that I asked. I don't remember the question because the the answer took away whatever the question was. This is the answer. No, not yet that it is. And I'm still not certain what that means. It's one of life's mysteries, and it's probably best that it stays that way. But I think you can understand why I used to sit around family gatherings and be confused about what the answer was to simple yes or no questions. There are some differences. One thing that I noticed is that in America, people like to brag about themselves, and they believe it. Asians will say derogatory things about themselves. They don't believe it, and you should not agree with them because it doesn't go well. And these cultural differences have made for an interesting relationship with my Asian mother-in-law. I want to be clear that I love my mother-in-law and admire her for the many things she has accomplished in her life. The thought of leaving my home to travel and live in another country forever, having to learn a new language and becoming a member of an entirely new culture would completely overwhelm me. I traveled abroad to England where they supposedly speak my native language, and I had problems understanding and had to have people translate. I do know that I don't fit what my mother-in-law would traditionally expect in a daughter-in-law. I am not Asian, and so I have not been raised with the skill to know and will never master the art of recognizing the people I should bow to in the room and the ones whose hands I am allowed to shake. I came into my marriage as an adult with my own home set up, and I've always taken pride in my independence. And while I am always respectful, it was an adjustment for both of us that I would accept advice and suggestions but do as I thought best. Of course, that may not be cultural, that may be mother-in-law's, because I'm going to be a mother-in-law and I might have the same thing. Another major difference between our cultures is the concept of truth in conversation. Hang with me because it's not bad. I was raised with your truthful words are your honor mentality. My experience with my husband's family is more that you honor the person by choosing the words that they think will make you happy. It sounds a little harsh, but both ways have their pluses. American culture's versions help with the simple questions, and it doesn't really allow for complete truth-telling either. We've been raised to be polite and skirt delicate issues if possible. What you really want from your family is to have your back and to be truthful with you about the important things, and that's what they all do. My husband and his part of the family do take liberty with their words a little further than I was accustomed to when they answer my questions, but it shows a lot of respect and love when they try to give the answer that they think that I want to hear. It's rather nice to have your husband, who is neither blind nor insane, look you straight in the eye and say, "You look great," even though you've been sick with the flu for 2 days, or wearing a furry stained nightgown, sporting an odor similar to a rancid bear before the post-hibernation bath, and possessing hair that looks like Medusa's out on a day without her snake charmer cream rinse. I learned to like this part of the enhanced fact adjustment, and I can live with it on the little things because we've all agreed to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth on the big things. I know that I won't ever fully understand the differences between our cultures, but I think the Asians and Americans in our family will be fine. We've got the most important things in common. We have our blended family traditions, and we are raising our children to find value in all of our heritages. And we continue to work on the common goals of love and understanding. But the best thing that my whole family has in common, and that we're willing to work on, is loving each other because we all love our secret Asian man.
Oh, that's nice.